Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and this episode I will be discussing Neighbours, and I will be summarising the Neighbours episodes released on the 30th of June to the 3rd of July 2025. So in previous episodes, when I've been covering Neighbours, I focused on one episode. Now, it became clear, and you may have noticed, that covering 4 episodes a week just became impossible. So what I've decided to do instead is I'm going to wait till the Thursday, so the last episode of that week airs, and then I'm going to write it summarising. So instead of it being like 4 different episodes, it's those 4 episodes. I'm including the big parts, not everything. So that's why it is shorter. But before I get on to my Neighbours summary for the episodes released on the 30th of June to the 3rd of July 2025, here is the newest Neighbours trailer.
Who's the 6-foot Adonis?
That is Colton. We hooked up in Queensland.
Oh!
Do you know how confronting it is knowing that 2 guys like you?
It's not rocket science. You can just date them both. I'm Team Rhett.
I am Team Colton.
That was the Will 3 be a crowd for Aaron teaser, and that is, I showed you that because it is the latest Neighbours trailer that I have access to. It's like I do with all the things that I cover, and that is because in this episode I'm summarising the Neighbours episodes released between the 30th of June and the 3rd of July 2025, and I'm recording this episode on the 7th of July 2025, so only about a week later, actually less than a week later, only a few days afterwards. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Carl and Susan discuss Darcy. Susan attempts to get Carl to change his mind about resigning from Irene Rising. Therese and Nell discuss Carl, Susan and Paul. Nell wants Therese to go to Leo and Krista's vow renewal. Therese mentions some of the issues that have arose at Irene since Amanda's death and Darcy's actions. Aaron and Nicolette discuss Rhett and Colton. Carl confronts Remy that he is leaving Irene Rising whilst inviting her to replace him. Colton attempts to convince Therese to go and accompany Paul. Aaron sees Rhett and Colton together. Rhett and Colton correct Aaron. Rhett offers Colton a lift. Susan asks Remy to pretend that she wants to replace Carl at Irene Rising. Colton, Vera and Gino take part in naked yoga. Aaron lets rip on Nicolette to Byron's delight. Aaron asks for Byron's advice whilst not wanting to hear Nicolette's thoughts any further. Colton invites Gino and Vera to an event. Vera compliments Colton. Remy follows Susan's instructions for her interest in replacing Carl at Irene. Aaron apologises to Rhett and Colton. Therese, Susan and Carl compliment Colton. Therese is planning on reuniting with Paul in Rome. Susan expresses her worries with Carl leaving Irene. Nicolette gives Aaron a drink. Aaron mentions Isla. Aaron and Nicolette see Rhett and Colton together. Remy agrees to continue pretending to be interested in being Carl's replacement to Irene. Someone has been assaulted that Remy knows. Wendy and Jane discuss Byron and Sadie. Wendy mentions Darcy. Saskia startles Jane. Jane answers a call. Byron was the one assaulted. Remy informs Jane, Nicolette and Aaron that Byron was assaulted. Max takes Holly's phone from her. Holly mentions Izzy. Max mentions Shane. Tay asks Max to help him clean the pool. Wendy introduces herself. Wendy corrects JJ over her taking over one of his classes. JJ volunteers to solve an equation. Saskia helps Wendy. Cara and Andrew discuss Lydia and Tay. Cara mentions Byron. Andrew informs Sadie that Byron is in hospital. JJ apologises to Saskia on Dex's behalf. Wendy asks Archie to follow her. Nicolette attempts to reassure Jane, as does Aaron. Remy updates Jane. Byron wakes up. Byron reveals he can't remember what happened to him. Byron tries to remember what happened to him. Wendy updates Andrew about how her day is going. Saskia is slightly rude to Wendy. Max, Tay and Holly visit Byron. Jane attempts to convince Sadie to visit Byron. Sadie does this. Max mentions Saskia. Holly mentions Saskia's age. Holly receives a message from Izzy. Max apologises to Holly. Max mentions himself, Carl and Susan. Wendy gives Saskia a present. Wendy reveals her real name to Saskia. Max informs Saskia that Byron is currently in hospital. Cara gives Andrew some suggestions on how to find Byron's attacker. Andrew checks in with Holly. Andrew invites Holly for a cup of tea. Max and Saskia visit Byron. Byron thanks Sadie for visiting him. Nicolette checks in with Jane. Jane and Nicolette notice photos of Byron as an escort. Jane calls a phone number. Holly mentions Izzy, Carl and Susan. Andrew attempts to reassure Holly about Izzy. Andrew mentions Stephen and Izzy. Wendy mistakes Holly for Sadie. Tay reveals that Harvey J is Byron's escort name. Cara believes she knows why Byron was attacked. Jane and Cara update Andrew. Jane thanks Tay. Cara mentions Lydia. Cara checks in with Tay. Tay apologises. Byron thanks Saskia for visiting him. Sadie mentions her grandparents. Andrew reveals his parents' reaction to him, informing them that he has found his biological family. Andrew invites Wendy and Sadie to a family lunch. Sadie reveals she's working all week. Wendy agrees to make a drink for Byron. Andrew informs Lydia of Byron's assault. Byron has injured himself. Saskia visits Byron again. Saskia got a book from Byron's bedroom. Sadie interrupts Saskia. Sadie convinces Saskia to leave. Wendy informs Saskia of Ellensborough High's lateness policy. Jane, Nicolette and Tay update Byron. Byron asks Sadie to stay with him. Byron thanks Sadie for staying with him. Cara notices Lydia having a disagreement with someone. Cara learns that the person Lydia was arguing with was her son. Cara and Jessie introduce themselves to each other. Jane thanks Wendy for stepping in for her. Saskia mentions her previous bullying in Brisbane. Wendy attempts to reassure Saskia. Cara, Tay and Max discuss Jessie. Cara notices Jessie's injured hands. Holly thanks Andrew for his advice. Wendy reveals she will not be able to appear at Andrew's family lunch. Wendy agrees to help Andrew find some things for this lunch. Lydia confronts Cara over speaking to Jessie. Cara mentions Jessie's injured hands. Cara gives Lydia some advice. Jessie confesses to assaulting Byron. Jessie reveals why he assaulted Byron. Tay wants to make a formal complaint against Lydia. Sadie, Holly and Max discuss Lydia. Saskia insults Sadie. Saskia apologises. Sadie sets Saskia straight. Cara updates Remy. Andrew reveals the charges Lydia will be facing. Lydia apologises to Tay and Cara. Lydia mentions Byron, Cara and Tay. Andrew compliments Cara. Nicolette thanks Sadie for finding an appointment for her. Nicolette reveals she has had a reaction to one of the day spa's treatments. Saskia sneaks into the day spa. Cara and Tay update Jane and Byron. Cara attempts to reassure Tay and Byron. Byron has finally realised that he and Sadie will never get back together. Nicolette screams as her face is burning. Nicolette wants to have a conversation with Glenn. Sam agrees to find Glenn for Nicolette. Colton invites Aaron to join him and Rhett. Aaron initially refuses until Rhett and Colton convince him. Rhett and Colton mention Byron's assault. Aaron mentions Vera. Saskia refuses to join JJ, Dex and Nell. Saskia insults Max. Byron returns home. Jane asks for Max's help. Saskia helps Byron. JJ, Dex and Nell watch a movie. Dex proves JJ wrong. Carl and Susan discuss the tram. Carl corrects Susan. Glenn inspects Nicolette. Glenn agrees to audit the day spa. Colton sets Aaron straight about his and Rhett's relationship status. Colton compliments Aaron. Colton updates Aaron on his feelings for him. Jane fusses over Byron. Byron mentions Remy. Byron thanks Jane for her help. Byron mentions his boundaries when it comes to Saskia. Saskia reveals she now has feelings for Dex. Sadie apologises to Nicolette. Glenn updates Nicolette on what Sadie has received. Carl asks JJ, Dex and Nell about the tram. Susan convinces JJ, Dex and Nell to go somewhere else for a while. Carl adapts his tram promotion idea thanks to some help from Dex. Aaron and Isla play catch whilst bumping into Rhett and Tilly. Aaron introduces himself and Isla to Tilly. Nicolette updates Max and Byron on what happened at the day spa. Byron apologises to Nicolette whilst mocking her. Byron is concerned for Sadie. Saskia invites Dex to hang out with her whilst Byron, Nicolette and Max hear this. And Aaron and Rhett discuss a TV show. Isla showcases her dancing. Rhett apologises to Aaron. Rhett and Tilly leave. Isla asks Aaron a question. Dex updates JJ and Nell. JJ gives Dex some dating advice. Dex mentions Cara and Remy's dating advice. Nell insults JJ's dating advice. Colton checks in with Carl. Colton asks Susan about Carl. Byron struggles to drink. Saskia helps Byron take his t-shirt off and back on again. Byron thanks Saskia for her help. Saskia attempts to reassure Byron. Jane mentions Isla and Rhett. Aaron mentions Colton as well as his current confused feelings. Jane insults Aaron. Jane gives Aaron a reality check. Aaron reveals his current feelings about Colton and Rhett. Sadie interrupts Byron and Saskia. Byron asks Saskia to give him and Sadie some alone time. Sadie apologises to Byron. Saskia overhears Byron and Sadie's conversation. Byron reassures Sadie about them. Nicolette mentions Isla's reaction to her face. Jane looks at the photos of Amanda and Mrs. Mangle, and that is my summary of the Neighbours episodes released between the 30th of June and the 3rd of July 2025. Now the plan is to do this all the way up until the finale, which it has been confirmed will release on the 11th of December, I think. So we've got loads of episodes, even though as of time of recording and probably around the time you're seeing this, it's the last week of filming, so it is a bit strange. Yeah, so it is one of those, because last time it was only a few weeks between them filming and it being released, whereas because of when Amazon decided to start releasing new Neighbours episodes, that's why the gap has always stayed at about 5 months. So that's why that is. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to more Neighbours episodes from the podcast. They will be coming, but let me know in the comments below what you thought of these episodes of Neighbours if you watched them. My summary, if you didn't, put your thoughts on both of those in the comments below. As well as anything else from the channel, such as any previews or recaps, put those in the comments below as well. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. And just a reminder that there are 2 episodes of the podcast now. The first episode releases at 11 AM GMT, and the second episode releases at 3 PM GMT. See you soon. Goodbye.